Yes, hello, and welcome to our next installment in our series of programs on playing card games, Solitaire. We received a note from our friend John Burton. He writes in, Hey, card guy, I created a Solitaire version of the immensely popular game, Gin Rummy. I'd like for you to try it. Well, he sent me the rules, and I tried it, and I played it, and I played it again, and I love it. Now, this game does not require 1 part gin and 1 part lime juice. This game requires 1 pack of cards and 1 generous pour of wits. The game is called Gimlet Rummy. Let's give it a try. Now, of course, this is a 1 pack game, and as you know, the standard pack of cards is 52 cards with 2 colors, red and black. There are 4 suits within the pack, as you all know. There are 13 ranks per suit, and those ranks range from ace through king. Now, grab that pack and, of course, give it a good shuffle. Now, we recommend that you shuffle those cards 7 times, no more, no less. 7 times has been sort of mathematically proven to give us our maximum randomness. So, perfect way for those cards to begin the game in the maximum state of randomness. What do you say we learn the layout of our game? Now, first we're going to begin with an overview of the classic game of Gin Rummy. Now, Gin Rummy can be played with 2 people, with 4 people. It ranges. We're going to start off with the 10-card hand version. There is often a pile in the middle that is your stock pile, and then as you draw and discard, we will create a draw pile or a discard pile. Now, the point of the game is to build melds within your hand. And once you've completed enough melds to complete the 10-card hand, you can then declare Gin Rummy and win. There's a scoring portion to it as well. But I think it's best to spend a little bit of time on the meld. So let's talk a little bit about what is a meld. Now, a meld is minimally 3 cards where it's either a run of cards or a set of cards. And I'll give you a few examples here. Let's take this first pile and look at this hand here. Now, if you see here, there are 3 runs. There's a 2, 3, 4. There's a 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a queen and a king and an ace. These are all runs. These are cards that ascend in rank, but they're all within the same suit. So keep that in mind. That is what a run looks like. Now let's look at the second pile as an example. Now here's a hand where we have 3 sets. We have 3 tens. We have 4 jacks. We have 4 nines. Sets are groups of the same rank, and of course they will be in all the different suits that are required. Sets are groups, runs are running in order. Now this third example is a fun one where it is 1 complete run of clubs. You can do that. You can have all 10 cards to be 1 run. That qualifies as a mega meld as well. Okay, now that we've learned the meld concept, let's apply it to the solitaire version. This is where it gets exciting. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to deal out 10 cards. Now I have them face up so you can see them. Set up a draw pile, and then while you play, you will create 4 discard piles, 1 for each suit. You see how I have them arranged by hearts and clubs. To win, your job is to build melds in your hand before any one of those discard piles reaches 6 cards. Do you see how we've created a virtual opponent versus our card hand of 10? And you're going to see how this works here in a minute, because now I think it's time to actually play around including scoring, and we can see how we fare against that virtual opponent. Okay, here's our first hand. So let's take our pack of cards and we're going to deal ourselves 10 cards. Okay, this is going to be my hand, and I'm going to try to build melds to complete all 10 cards. So I'm going to go ahead and organize them. I usually organize them by rank. It's just kind of how my brain works. Put the kings at the right, and then descending order to the left. We'll gather all these cards up by rank, and then I'm going to fan them out here and display them so that we can kind of work on this hand together. So let's see, what do we have here? Got some 6s, got some 9s, got some 10s, got some jacks, and a couple of kings. Okay, well now let's draw a card and see what we can do with it. Does this ace help us at all? Is it helpful? Can we use it? No. I'm going to create my very first card in a discard pile. Here's a 7 of clubs. Can't use that. That's the next discard pile that we've created, the club pile. How does that 6 work? Could we use that 6? I see a 6 right there. Should we claim it? I think we should claim it. Now we need to decide, well, what do we discard? I don't really need that queen. Not much is going on there. So I'm going to set up my third discard pile for hearts. I'm going to draw a card. Ooh, that king can come in handy. I'm going to claim that king. And now we have a meld of 3 kings. So we're getting somewhere. Now, what do we discard? What don't we need? We have to sort of make a decision here. What do we think is not going to be statistically as common or as winnable? I'm going to just make a choice here and go with the 9, and we're going to set up our 4th discard pile. Okay. Well, that queen could have came in handy if we kept it, but we did not. So that's okay. I'm going to speed it up a little bit here, and you'll see how the cards begin to fall. I'm going to pick a 5, don't need it. Pick a 3, don't need it. 8 doesn't really help me. Discard the 8. That 3 doesn't help much. Boy, there's another queen. Boy, those queens could have been helpful if we had kept them. Oh well. Don't need the 2. Don't need the 2 of clubs. We're up to 5 discards there. We got to be careful. Okay, there's second 2. Don't need it. Put the 4 up there. There are 5 now in a couple piles. We need to be careful of how we discard, because if we hit 6, we are finished. Ooh, we can claim that jack. That's helpful. Now, what don't we need? We really don't need that 9, but watch what happens. We discard the 9, and there are 6 cards in that discard pile, and that means that the hand has gone sour. That means we did not win. So now we go through a scoring exercise to see how did our opponent fare. Well, first we're going to calculate the dead wood in our hand. So let's first look at, well, what did we meld? What worked for us? Let's pull aside those 3 kings, pull aside those 3 jacks. The 2 10s did not meld, so that's 10 and 10 is 20 points. Those 2 6s did not meld. That's 6 and 6 for 12 points. So we have 32 points of dead wood. Now, there's also a penalty for having gone sour, and that penalty is a pretty hefty 30 points. So, the opponent has scored 62 points this first round, and I have 0. Okay, we've got some wood to chop here. What do you say we shuffle those cards and we deal out hand number 2? Let's see if we can make up some ground here. I'm going to deal myself 10 cards. I'm going to set up my draw pile. I'm going to organize my hand, and again, I'm going to do it by rank so I can keep track of everything. Put the jacks in one place, the 4s, the 5s, get that 9 where it belongs, put that 8 where it belongs. And now let's go ahead and fan these out and display them so we can see what we're dealing with and hopefully make some good decisions. Okay, so I like what I see here so far. A couple of jacks. We've got something cooking with 8s, maybe some hearts run. Let's see here. Well, let's draw a card and see what happens next. Oh, perfect. Now that jack comes in handy. Let's claim that jack for a 3rd jack. What don't we need? Really don't need the ace. It's not really part of anything. Let's pick up the pace and let's see how these cards work out. Here's my 2nd discard. Don't need it. Should we go for a spade run? Do we dare? Let's try it. Let's see if that spade run can work out to our favor, and I'll get rid of that 9. 5 we can use. Now we have a nice group of 5. That's cooking on the left. Discard the, look at that. Look at that. We actually drew an inside straight. We have an 8, 9, 10 run. I love that. That actually worked out pretty well. Pretty fortunate. Don't need now that 8 of diamonds. Should we get rid of the 6 or the 8? Let's get rid of the 8, actually. That 6 could come in handy with a heart run. What's the next card? 3 of spades, don't need. 2 of diamonds, don't need. No, I can't really use that king to anything. Let's discard him. 8 of hearts. Is there a 5, 6, 7, 8 of hearts there? Is that worth going for? Should we try that? Maybe that 8 could come in handy. That king of hearts I don't really need. We're up to 5 in that pile. Be careful. One more card and we're in trouble here. Ace, don't need it. 5. There we go. We have 4 5s. Okay. We have an 8, 9, 10. We have 3 jacks. I think we may have a gimlet. We'll pull out that 8 of hearts now, and now we'll score our hand a little differently, and this is where it gets exciting. Now the way that we score is we get bonus points for having the least amount of discard piles, and here's how it works. If you have no cards in a discard pile, you get 10. If you have 1 card, you get 8, and so on. All the way down to 5 cards, you get 0 points. So let's scour up our columns here and see what we get. Okay, well in that first column we have 4 cards, that's 2 points. The next column we have 6, we get nothing. The next column of discards, we have 1 card, that's 8 points, and another card of 1, so another of 8 points. So if you add up all of our discard piles, you get 2 and 0, 8 and 8 for 18 points, plus a 20-point bonus for having Gimlet. My score is now 38 points. Okay, not too shabby. That brings the comparison up to 62 for the opponent and 38 for me. let's begin our next hand. Okay, hand number 3. Let's go ahead and deal ourselves 10 cards, and we're going to get them organized here. Okay, dealing off 10. Alrighty, let's have a look at those cards and get them organized. I like to organize them by rank. Let's get these cards in order. We put that ace in the beginning. Got the 2 and the 3 and the 4. Get that 6 in order. Got a couple 4s going. Let's fan those out and display it. Let's see what we're dealing with here. Ace, couple 2s, couple 4s, got an 8, 9, 10. Let's draw a card and see if this card can help us. Well, I think I like that 9. Let's claim that 9 and get rid of that 10. Or I'm sorry, get rid of that 6. You also want to think about discarding cards that could be valuable in the wrong way in terms of dead wood. You don't want to be carrying a lot of valuable dead wood cards, so just think about that as you play it. I'm going to claim that ace. I like the 2s and the 3s. I don't really need that 8. We'll discard that 8. Don't need the 5. Is that 6 helpful? Don't really need the 6. 6 of spades. Now we've got all of our discard piles started. Don't need the queen. Those 3 9s help. We got 3 4s. Get rid of that 3. We're close here, folks. We're close to another Gimlet. Let's see if we can pull that off. Don't need that queen. King can't help us. Neither can that king. How about that 3? Should we build a heart run? Should we do ace 2 3? I think we do want to do that. I think I want to do that and get rid of that 2 of diamonds. We're 1 card away here. Can't use the 5. 7 can't help us. Can't use the king. Jack's not going to help us. And now, shoot, we've got 6 cards in a discard pile. That's bad news. It means that our hand has gone sour. So that means we're going to have to calculate our deadwood and take a penalty. Now, most of our cards have been melded. We have very little non-melded cards left, just the ace. And the ace is face value, so it's 1 point of deadwood plus a sour penalty of 30 points. Our virtual opponent has scored 31 points this round. So that brings the opponent's score to a massive 93. Oh boy. Okay, hand number 4. Let's make up some ground here, shall we? I'm feeling good about this one. I'm going to deal out 10 cards for myself. Going to set up our draw pile here. Let's get these cards organized. Let's put these in order of rank. Let's get these organized, and then we're going to display them and hopefully put our wits to full use and get a little dash of luck in there and hopefully see if we can overcome our virtual opponent. Okay, so let's draw a card. Can't really, well, we could use the 9 if we were to do a nice heart run. We'll get rid of that 2. I like that 7, 8, 9. King comes in handy. Don't really need the 10. Can the jack help us? Yes, it can. I like those pairs of jacks. Don't really need the 4 now. Oh, here's another jack. This is actually looking rather nice here. A couple 7s, got a little bit of a run. Got 3 jacks, got a couple of kings. I like it. I like it. What should we do next here? What do we discard? You know, I don't think that queen's going to be helpful. Let's discard the queen. Don't think we need the 5. That 7 could come up. Do we push that run or do we try to grab a set of 7s? What's more likely? We've already got the run. Maybe we stick with it. 5 doesn't help. 4 doesn't help us. Again, a run or a set here. That's often the challenge here. Let's see if we can build that little bit of a run here. We'll get rid of that 7. That may not have been wise. Let's just try it. 6, 7, 8. I like that. And 9, that's a good run. We're really just 1 card away here. We've got 3 jacks that are melded. We've got a couple of kings. Get rid of the 8. Don't need the 10. How about a king? Oh, there we go. There we go. That is what's called a gimlet. So we've got a nice run, and we've got jacks, and we've got kings. So let's score it up. And you score it by counting the cards in the discard pile. The least cards, the more points that you earn. Remember our chart. So let's count them up. 2 points for that pile because there's 4 cards. 4 points for that pile because there's 3. Another 4 points, and then 6 points for the small pile on the right. When you add up all the discard points, it brings us to 16. Plus we get a bonus for having gone Gimlet. That is 20 more points. My score was 36 that round, and that brings my score up to a respectable 74. Okay, this is it. This is likely the last hand of the game. Let's hope that Lady Luck is looking kindly upon the card guy. Okay, dealing out 10 cards. I'm going to go ahead and display all these, get them organized first, get these organized by rank. Let's put the king there and the jack and the 8. Okay, let's fan these out, display them, and let's see what we got to deal with here. I'm feeling pretty positive. Hopefully you are too. I can feel it. Going to draw a card here. That 9 doesn't help us. I like that 2. We can get a little bit of a run going with that ace. How about that 2 there? Should we push the set? Let's maintain our options here. We'll get rid of the 6, and that 2 can go in a couple different directions. Don't need the 4. Don't need that 5, but definitely claim that king. I like that set of kings that we're starting over there. Don't really need that 8. That 8's kind of an outlier. What's the next card here? That 9, don't really know if the 9 helps us. That 4 is no good. I like the jack. I like the 3 jacks there and a couple of kings. Maybe we get rid of that 7. Don't really need the 7. 5's no good. Well, the 2 really helps. We can now have a nice set of 2s. Let's claim it, and do we get rid of the ace or do we get rid of the 10? Maybe we get rid of the 10 because it's a heavier deadwood card. We may not need it. That 10 can actually play off the jack, but we have a nice set going. Do we keep that ace and try for another? Get rid of that queen, which is a heavy, well, that was a heavy deadwood card hanging onto that queen. We'll see if it pays off. That king helps us, and there's that queen. Good. We are really close here, folks. We're 1 card away. Next card is a 3 of clubs. Don't really need it. 3 of diamonds doesn't help us. 8 of clubs. We're getting high on those discards here. Be careful. Shoot. That's 6 cards in that discard pile. Dang it. That means that hand has gone sour. So we got to score it up again. And what that means is we find all the cards here that are melded and those that are dead wood, and we take our lumps. Now those non-melded cards, fortunately, there's not much that is non-melded. We get rid of those sets. All that's left is the 1, plus the 30-card penalty for going sour. Our opponent again scores 31 points, and that brings the opponent's score up to a very impressive 124 compared to the card guy with a measly 74. So that means I'm going to have to keep practicing here. Folks, this game is actually really fun to play, and it's addictive, and it's easy to set up. The rounds move quickly, and as you can see, it's not easy. So I totally recommend that you give it a try and add it to your repertoire of solitaire games that you play on repeat. So I want to say thanks to our friend John Burton for sharing with us this really fun game he created. I had a lot of fun learning it and a lot of fun playing it, and hopefully you had a lot of fun watching it. So I want to say thanks again. Remember, you're never really alone as long as you've got a pack of cards. And oh yeah, we'll see you again next time.